Hi, Kathy and Kirsten. It's Stacy.
Hi, Stacy. I created a slide for us to throw up on the screen that says the meeting's in recess until we get to the interviews after you put it in recess.
Oh, fabulous. Good. Did you? I literally emailed you about the same thing. So great minds think alike. Are you guys ready for me to like at least sort of start and then put the meeting in recess, or do you still need some time to get set up on your end?
Oops. Just a sec. So we need to check with Diana, who's brand new to eScribe, and she's running eScribe. So I need to check with her and see if she's ready. Just a sec.
Okay, sounds good.
We'll move Diana over here. And attendees. Oh, whoops, let me go from this here. So we want to go to attendees here. And more. And we can promote to panelist. So now she's a panelist, which means she can activate her video and her.
Okay, gotcha.
And I would probably keep this guy muted. If you wanted that up there now.
Okay, Stacy, we're ready to go.
Great, thanks so much. Okay, folks, I'm going to call today's Public Safety and Health Committee meeting to order. Today is Wednesday, December 9th. We will stand in recess and for this committee meeting until 11:40. Originally, when this meeting was scheduled, we had an agenda item that has been removed at the last minute. And we have the second part of our agenda is some interviews for the Animal Control Board, and those were scheduled at a set time. So I have called the Public Safety and Health Committee meeting to order, and I will also put us in recess until 11:40, when we will reconvene and move through the agenda, including approval of minutes, public comment, and then the interviews for the Animal Control Board. So please stay tuned and join us again at 11:40. Thanks. And Kirsten, if you want to put up that screen now, that'd be great. Okay, folks, looks like we're all coming back to the meeting. Let's see. So I am going to take us out of recess. Y'all could take a moment and rejoin the meeting. Thank you everyone for your patience as we kind of dealt with a little bit of scheduling. Hopefully you all got a cup of coffee or tea and had a quick break. And we will come back into order. So I'm going to call today's public safety and health meeting back to order. Today is Wednesday, December 9th. We are still meeting virtually, as you can all tell by our Brady Bunch tiles on the screen. But there are many ways for the public to engage with us if they would like. The best way to find out upcoming meetings and the various Zoom links to attend those meetings is to please visit the website www.ci.missoula.mt.us/webcast. This is the portal that will kind of it's the information hub for our virtual meeting environment that we are in right now. And you will be able to find a place where you can leave comments. You can indicate if you would like to participate in any upcoming committee or city council meetings. You can also always at any time, day or night, leave us a voicemail, and that phone number is 406-552-6012. That gets sent out to all council members. And as per usual, before the pandemic and on to after, you can always send us an email with your thoughts at council@ci.missoula.mt.us. So plenty of ways for folks to continue to engage with us as we continue to be safe and meet virtually. This meeting, all committee meetings and council meetings are broadcast via YouTube live, as well as on MCAT Spectrum TV channel 190. So we have two items on the agenda for today. We have interviews for the Animal Control Board. Before we get to those, I am going to take roll to see who all is here. Myself is here. I'm going to look around the screen. Miss Becerra is here. Mr. Contos is here. It does not appear that Miss Harp has joined us yet. Miss Jones is here. Miss Merritt is here. Mr. Ramos is also not in attendance this morning thus far. Could be joining us here, but not yet. Miss Cheryl is here. Miss Fasica is here. Let's see. I do not see Council President Von Lossberg yet, so Brian is not here as of yet. And Miss West is here. So all in attendance except for Von Lossberg, Ramos, and Hart. Great. We do have meeting minutes to approve from our last committee meeting, which was held November 18th. The topics for that agenda was an update on the mobile crisis unit, as well as the final installment, really, of the vaping/tobacco ordinance. So without any objections, those minutes will stand approved. Okay, seeing no objections, we will get on to our two committee items today. So what we have before us are interviews for an Animal Control Board. We, as luck would have it, have 2 slots open and 2 applicants. So we will interview those 2 folks, those 2 women, starting here at 11:45 and again at 2:05. And then I would welcome a motion to move those interviews once we are done, if folks feel that that's appropriate. So the first, so I guess really quickly, it does not appear we have any public, but just for good measure, I will happy to take public comments on items not on the agenda today. Doesn't look like we have any public here, so, but just wanted to put that out there. So like I said, we will start with our first interviewee. Normally when we meet in person, we kind of do a round robin with the questions. That's a lot more difficult here in this virtual environment. So the chair is just going to read through all the questions. And like our protocol, we try to, if you do have a follow-up question, make sure that it's a question that we can ask the next applicant as well, just to make sure that everything is fair. So I do believe Miss Lisa Smith has been allowed into the meeting. You should be able to unmute yourself. Lisa, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
We can. All right.
Awesome.
Technology is working for us this morning. Okay,
Cool.
Great. So Lisa is our first interviewee. Oh, Miss Merritt, yes?
Is it possible we were able to get our last interviewee in the last committee meeting on video? Is it possible that we can get Miss Smith on video?
Yes, we just elevated her to a panelist.
Yeah, like closed out and opened back up. So
Perfect. Okay. We can see you and hear you. Oh, wonderful. Okay. So we will begin with the questions. We just have 7 of them, and we have about 15-ish or so minutes for the interview. So should be fairly painless. The first question is, please take a moment to introduce yourself, including any prior service on local boards and commissions.
hi, I'm Lisa Smith. I've lived in Missoula for 16 years. I currently reside in Ward 6. For my day job, I am a property manager for low-income housing at Missoula Housing Authority. I currently serve as board president of Open Aid Alliance, and then I also serve on the planning committee for the annual Project Community Connect event. I serve as the pet area service coordinator.
Great, thank you so much, and thank you for your service to Missoula. Please describe what you know of the Animal Control Board and or the Department of Animal Control. And the follow-up to that, are there any changes that you would like to see?
My knowledge of the board comes from what was available on the website. So board functions being reviewing policies to make sure they're in alliance with city ordinances, and then reviewing requests for the multiple dog permits. I reviewed the past agendas and minutes that were available on the website. The most recent minutes were from December of 2017, when the board voted to lower the multiple dog permit fee. So I assume another function of the board is to set the permit fee amounts. The only change is just having current minutes uploaded on the website. It's really helpful for me when I'm looking at stuff, at least, to see more current minutes. But that's the only change I can think of.
Great, thank you so much. That's a good one to flag. Just for the record, it does appear that Mr. Von Lossberg is with us. So make that note for the record, and we will continue on with the third question. What suitable experience, knowledge, or perspective can you bring to the Animal Control Board?
I have extensive knowledge in functions of board. I learned a lot of that while earning my MPA degree at UM. My first actual experience with the board was at Missoula Housing Authority. I'm employed there, but I take the board minutes. I've been doing that for about 5 years. So I attend all of their monthly board meetings and special board meetings. So I've learned a lot about, city board function processes at those meetings and how that stuff works. And then my first experience serving on a board is with Open Aid Alliance. I've been on that board since August of 2017, and my term does expire next August in 2021. At OAA, I've helped create some policies for the board just to have some procedures written down and in place, and then also helped rewrite their bylaws. My perspective as it relates to animals is mostly with low income and housing folks, or homeless folks, excuse me. I've worked with that population for about 9 years. I used to work at the YWCA, and when I worked there, I created some formal policies for their pet advocate program and created a partnership with the Humane Society. I don't think that exists anymore, although I'm not sure. I haven't worked there for a while. And then my graduate thesis was about creating a community-wide pet advocate program to serve all of the homeless in Missoula. And back then, that was in 2014, I was able to interview animal control and a couple other people to get their perspectives on something like that. And then for the past 6 years, I've coordinated the pet services area of Project Community Connect, and that's where I've had the most direct experience with animal control, because they donate the vaccinations for that event, and then the pet food as well. And then I also have extensive knowledge in service animals as it relates to ADA and assistance animals under fair housing as part of my job.
Thank you so much for that great list. What do you see as the most crucial issue concerning animal welfare and the care that confronts Missoula right now?
Since my work is mostly with low income and homeless folks, that's where I see the issues the most as far as population goes. The issues that I see with that population is lack of financial assistance for food, pet food, vaccinations, and spay and neuter. I know that Animal Control and Humane Society both host low-income vaccination clinics and spay and neuter clinics, but those aren't always accessible to this population, mostly a lot because of the locations of those two agencies. So I do see a decent amount of the population attend that annual Project Community Connect event to receive their vaccinations. And then another issue is just a lack of resources to temporarily house pets while folks access homeless shelters. There's not really good options for that right now.
Great, thank you so much for that perspective. What are your thoughts about the coordination between government animal control efforts and the Missoula Humane Society?
I'm unfamiliar with history of any coordination efforts that have been done thus far, but I think any coordination efforts are always valuable. Our Missoula community resources really work well together because organizations coordinate with each other, and they partner with each other, including, I know the city government does coordination with a lot of nonprofit organizations in Missoula. So I would support any coordination efforts as long as it aligns with both of their missions.
Great, thank you so much. So the final question is, will you have the time to fulfill this board position? The meetings are held currently the first Wednesday of March, June, September, and December. So it looks like those are held quarterly at 5:45. Additionally, there may be subcommittees, packets of information to review, and research required for board members.
Yeah, absolutely. I do have the time.
Okay, great. Yes, I know the next meeting actually is going to be in February because they had to miss December because they're having some technological difficulties. So will that be a problem to join virtually at the meeting in February?
Yeah, I can do that.
I think it's a makeup meeting. Okay,
yeah.
Great. So the final question is if there's anything else that you want to tell us that hasn't been brought up so thus far in the interview that you want us to know.
So I think I could think of, I really love policy and procedure work. So if there's ever opportunities to work on that, like I would definitely jump on that. And I think it's really important to be of service to my community, and being able to serve on a board is one way that I can do that and offer some volunteer work.
Great, thank you so much. So I guess I will now take some questions from our council members. It does appear as though Mr. Hest has a question.
Thanks. Thanks for being here and for your interest. I was really intrigued about what you were saying about potential for reforming or for providing more services for people experiencing homelessness and pets. And I wonder if you have some recommendations that you would bring to your board service if you are on the animal control board, as far as how we can better serve that population in that time of need.
Yeah. So I mean, the two biggest things, like I said, is access to financial assistance for vaccinations, and then places to house while you're in the homeless population. As far as places to house your pet, I think that's a bigger issue that's going to create, a lot of communities. So I'm not sure that this is the appropriate place to bring that up. But with vaccinations, I mean, maybe asking, can you do the vaccination clinics, somewhere that's in town, like bringing it to the pub. I think they've done that before, but doing them there more often so people can access them. It's great that they can access it every year in January at the PCC event. This year they won't be able to, though. So that's actually one of my tasks, is trying to figure out how can I get them vaccinations this year, since we won't have the PCC event. So hopefully if I can figure out a solution with that, maybe that's something that could just be implemented, a couple times a year, like a voucher that they can bring to Animal Control or Humane Society, something like that.
Thanks, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Ms. Merritt.
I'm glad to hear that you're interested in policy and procedures. I know as part of the update that we recently did to the trapping ordinance, which is in the same part of the ordinance as the Animal Control Board, a few folks commented that there are a number of other parts of that ordinance that need some updating. So I would look forward to seeing some work get put towards updating our animal control ordinances. Thanks.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you so much for those questions. Does anybody else have any questions? I'm not seeing a rush of hands. Oh, right. Well, great. Thank you so much for your time and for applying for this position. Like I mentioned, there are 2 positions and 2 applicants. So we will conduct the second interview and then we will make a recommended motion today in the meeting afterwards. So the motion then, if unanimously voted upon, will appear on, well, even if it's not unanimously, it depends on where it'll be on the agenda. It will be on Monday night's city council meeting. So I'm sure it sounds like you're very busy, so you can go about your day. And we will be back in touch with you shortly after the end of today's committee meeting.
Sure.
So thank you so much for your time and for your service to Missoula again.
Yeah. Thank you guys. Thanks for the opportunity.
Yes. Great. Thanks so much. Okay, well, that went quicker than we had the allotted time for. So let's see, the next interview is technically slated to start at 2:05, but I will see if Mary is here and if she's willing to start a couple minutes early so we can just keep trugging along. It does look like Mary's here. She's being added to the committee meeting. Mary Sansala, are you able to hear me? You should be able to unmute yourself.
I can hear you and I can see you.
Fabulous. Do you have the ability to turn your camera on and be seen by us?
Can you see me?
Oh, once again, technology for the win. Wonderful. I know we're a couple minutes early. Are you okay with getting going on your interview questions?
No, it's just totally fine. I've done this twice before, so.
Okay, this is an old trick for you. Okay, wonderful. Well, everyone, this is Mary Sansala. She is the second applicant for the Animal Control Board. I will go ahead and read the 7 questions that we have for you and then give an opportunity for council members to ask any follow-up questions.
All right.
Wonderful. So the first one is, please take a moment to introduce yourself. Include any prior service on local boards and commissions.
My name is Mary Sansala. I'm a retired teacher from Wisconsin. Been out here for about 8.5 years because my children are here and my grandchildren. I've been on this board for the last 4 years, I believe. I've been a volunteer at Animal Control, fostering, walking, just generally whatever, for the last, I think, 8 years. Before that, I was a volunteer dog walker, foster home for the Humane Society of Wisconsin. And I've been on boards back in Wisconsin, but this is the one for me right now here.
Great, thank you so much. Please describe what you know about the Animal Control Board and or the Department of Animal Control. Are there any changes that you would like to see?
What do I know about the board? What I know about the board is what I do for the board. And that is approving multiple dog licenses, discussing any particular issues relevant to that. Over the last probably year has been the discussion around the planning for the expansion of the facility. Oh, and I also should say that I had been on the Friends of Animal Control for a couple of years and helped to fund that fabulous dog run. So I know we do that. We are the citizens that represent review of licenses, any issues. Jeff generally gives us an update on what's happening in terms of staffing, not specific personnel issues, but staffing issues, any other issues. And in terms of what animal control itself does, is I think helps to, license animals, also provides medical clinics for low cost services to people, responds to complaints in the community about critters that are causing problems, picks up animals that are stray, has the adoption function, the sheltering for those dogs that have been found stray. things of that nature. Is that good? I could go on.
No, that's perfectly fine. Yes, having been on the board, we understand that you have already have a leg up on knowing what it does and its functions. So we'll move on to the next question, number 3. What suitable experience, knowledge, and perspective can you bring to the Animal Control Board? And I realize some of these questions, because of the nature of your questions or your answers, seem a little redundant, but we're going to run through them anyways.
Okay, well, I'll be a little redundant then. Having experience on the board for the past 4 years has been really very instructive. There are a couple of people that have been on the board for a long time that, have helped to fill in some gaps in my knowledge, and Jeff has as well. The question again, what do I bring to it?
Yes. What suitable experience, knowledge, and perspective can you bring to the Animal Control Board? So,
well, I know what goes on at the shelter because I have been there in all kinds of capacities. So I do know, how, the day-to-day business of the shelter, the mission of the shelter, how it contributes to the community, how it supports the community, although I don't know that the community really understands that, but and how it works with the Friends of Animal Control, how it works with other shelters to try to move dogs and animals around to get them adopted.
Great, thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
So question number 4, what do you see as the most critical issue concerning animal welfare and the care that confronts Missoula?
Population control. Animals, cats and dogs that are reproducing, and there's not really any place for them. Sometimes they're stray. In particular, I think the cats oftentimes are stray, feral, dogs as well. And there are a lot of dogs and cats that no one wants.
Mm-hmm. Sad but true. Yes, thank you for that. What are your thoughts about coordination between government animal control efforts and the Missoula Humane Society?
Well, I have seen at times, a sharing of animals that, say a dog has been at animal control for 3-4 months and there's been no movement. Then there is oftentimes reach out to the Humane Society. Will you take this dog? And, maybe it will work better. I think maybe public education around, the clinics that the animal control runs. I don't know, I think that the Humane Society has a really large population that they could market that to, that would help to control the overpopulation of cats and dogs here. Just in terms of both being organizations that are animal advocates, to work in conjunction with each other for advocacy issues.
Great, thanks for that. Second to last question, and I'm guessing given that you're already on the board, this should be an easy one, but do you have the time for the demands of this position? Meetings are held the first Wednesday of March, June, September, and December at 5:45. There may be subcommittees, packets of information to review, or research required by board members.
Yeah, I've never missed a board meeting.
Okay, great. Well, in conclusion, the final question is if there's anything else that you'd like to tell us that we haven't asked or touched on so far.
No, I think I've spoken for myself. The application that I submitted, I am an animal advocate, have been my entire adult life, and I've implemented that here with animal control.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate that. I will let council members queue up for any questions, and I will take the first stab at it. You have mentioned a couple different times now Friends of Animal Control, and I know not everyone may know what that is, and so I'd love to provide you an opportunity to tell us what is Friends of Animal Control. sounds like it's separate than animal control itself.
It is. It's a completely separate, it's a non-for-profit, raises money in various ways, and uses the money to improve the lives at times of the shelter animals, but primarily it's used to support animal owners in the community that can't afford or can't fully afford medical expenses for their pets. So people can ask for help, and Elaine, the board chair, reviews those and has been for years. She's really the driving force behind animal control, the Friends of Animal Control. Fundraisers are done. I'm not on the board anymore. There are so many really young, really competent people that are now doing fundraising in, what would they be called? They're not bars, but in the community to raise money. Really, really active in terms of raising money right now. So that's what they do. That's where the money comes from. That's generally where the money goes. Friends of Animal Control paid for that $10,000 dog run in like that. So they've done a really good job.
Great, thank you for that. Yes, Friends of Animal Control is the 501c3 foundation that helps support many of the great things that Mary said. So I'm glad that they're here as well in our community, and felt like this was a good opportunity to highlight that since you brought it up in your interview.
Thank you.
And Jordan, did you have a question? Or I saw a momentary flicker of a raised hand and then it went down. So just wanted to make sure I didn't miss something.
I was prepared to talk after the interview was done. So
perfect. Sounds great. Okay, Mary. Well, like I said earlier, we have 2 positions and 2 applicants. We will make a recommended motion this evening, or sorry, this afternoon.
Okay.
Been a long start to the day so far, and then it will be on Monday night's City Council agenda, and we will be in touch shortly to let you know the outcome of our discussion.
Okay. Well, thanks for your time. Happy holidays.
Yes, same to you. Thank you so much.
Yep.
Okay, folks. Like I said, we have had 2 interviews. I have to say that every time we do these interviews for people in the community who want to volunteer their time on all sorts of various boards, I'm so continually impressed with the great people who care so much and have a variety of expertise that it's always fun to see and meet those folks and hear about their passions and how they contribute back to our community. So does look like we have a tee up of folks. Mr. Hess was jumping the gun here, so I'll let him go first and then I'll work down the line and we will
thanks.
have.
I was just going to make a motion to appoint both Ms. Missoula and Ms. Smith. I think they're both excellent candidates, and I remember interviewing Mary at least one other time before, and I'm glad that she's continuing service, and so I'd be really happy to support them both.
Wonderful. Great. Thanks. That motion is in order. Questions or discussion on the motion, Mr. Contos?
It was answered. Thanks.
Okay, great. Ms. Merritt?
I'm just glad that we are, have the same number of positions as we have applicants. I'm very happy to, excuse me, to support the motion, and I'm glad that we don't have to make a tough decision between these 2 great candidates who obviously both bring a lot to the table. So glad that we're going to have some good folks filling our city positions on the Animal Control Board.
Yes, I agree. It works out well that way today. Ms. West?
So many screens. I just want to add my support, and I think it's really exciting to have Lisa join the board. I think that her area of expertise is something that we really need in our community, and that she can offer a lot of insight to providing services to some of the folks in our community that are most at risk and also most challenging to serve at, when it comes to especially dealing with their animals. So I think that'll be a great perspective to include on this board.
I wholeheartedly agree, Ms. West. Ms. Cheryl.
I think Heidi just made my point. So thank you. I agree with you. And I just wanted to thank both candidates for one for continued service and another that I will happily support, and really appreciate her bringing that perspective, as Heidi pointed out.
Great. Sounds great. I agree. Okay, so we have a motion on the floor. We've had discussion. We have no public in attendance today, which is a shame. They would got to have seen the interviews done by these two wonderful women. Okay, with nothing else, I will go ahead and take a vote to move Jordan's motion, which is to reappoint Ms. Sansala and appoint Ms. Smith to terms on the Animal Control Board beginning January 1st of 2021 and ending on December 31st, 2023. And with that, I vote yes. Becerra.
Yes.
Contos.
John.
Yes.
Great. Ms. Harp is absent. Ms. Jones.
Yes.
Ms. Merritt.
Yes.
Mr. Ramos is absent. Ms. Cheryl.
Yes.
Ms. Vasika.
Yes.
Mr. Von Lossberg.
Yes.
And Ms. West.
Yes.
All right, grand. That passes with a vote of 10 ayes,
You missed me,
0
but I'll
nays.
vote yes.
Pardon?
I said you missed me, but I'll vote yes.
Oh my gosh, Jordan, I'm sorry. Okay, thank you so much. My chicken scratch of calling the roll missed you. So great. That still is 10 yeses. I just counted your vote ahead of time, and 2 absence. So that will be on Monday night's consent agenda. We ended a little early, so you get a bit longer for lunch. Thank you guys so much for your time today, for kind of sticking with us through the various breaks this morning. Enjoy your lunch, and we'll see you again in a little bit. With that, I will adjourn today's Public Safety and Health Committee meeting.
Okay, so just stop live stream.